If they've reached an accord where they both want to be gone from each other, so be it. But let's understand what Antonio Brown did here. He basically pulled the T.O. If you remember when T.O. was in Philadelphia, T.O. became a bit more outspoken than usual, in some people's eyes a bit more truculent than usual, in an effort to get out of Philadelphia so he can go someplace else and get a new contract. He became a distraction. It was at the behest of his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, at the time, if I remember correctly. As a result, Andy Reid had enough. They exiled him from Philadelphia. He ended up landing on another team. I believe it was the Dallas Cowboys, and the rest is history. Antonio Brown has followed that path. How did that work out? T.O.'s a Hall of Famer. T.O.'s one of the great wide receivers to have ever lived. On many, many occasions, we've lamented how T.O. has been unfairly maligned and crucified to some degree. Not that he was completely innocent in it all, but they certainly made him out to be a hell of a lot worse than what he was in some people's eyes. In other people's eyes, he was such a distraction that they didn't even want to put him in the Hall of Fame when he clearly deserved it. He deserved to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and they clearly shafted him by denying him that opportunity. I think Antonio Brown has to realize with the actions that he's taken and the way he's elected to handle this kind of situation, right or wrongly, it may be viewed in that light, and who knows what the Steelers, A, are going to be able to get for him, and B, wherever else he goes, who knows what kind of baggage he's going to carry with him because of this whole ordeal.
I think that the whole AB situation, by the way, and the Le'Veon Bell situation demonstrate that when a team tries to toe the line against their best short-term interests in order to send a message to players, not set precedent, giving in to players and everything, what they're ignoring is the leverage the players actually have. We all know the league and the teams have way more leverage than the players. Of course, we all get that. But it's not like the players don't have any. And the Steelers have botched what may have been a dynasty in terms, especially like you look at the skills positions, the triplets, as they say, of Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown. Like, that's a rare combination. Never won a Super Bowl, those three. And what happened with Le'Veon Bell? He wanted a new deal. They played hardball. We haven't even gotten to that today. And in the end told him, yeah, we want you back, but we're not going to guarantee you that we're not going to franchise you. And he said, yeah, but if you say that, I'm not coming back. And they said, okay, then we'll play without you. How'd that turn out? And Antonio Brown, it was clearly heading in this direction for so long, they waited till too late to trade him. Now, I was saying you're not going to get a first for him given his age and his salary, but you wouldn't get a third either. He's too good. I'm not sure what you get now. You know, if it was later in the second round, maybe you also get something like a fifth-round pick thrown in. Whatever you were going to get, you're going to get less now because it's a distressed asset. People know it's over in Pittsburgh. So I think it was mishandled. I think they're going to get less than they would have gotten for him. And from Pittsburgh's point of view, yes, they have Juju Smith-Schuster. It makes Brown expendable. But, damn, don't you want to get some kind of close to equal value for him? I think that's out the window now.
I think Antonio Brown is getting what he wanted all along. You know, get the hell out of Pittsburgh. I think with the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is an organization that has had 3 head coaches in its whole, throughout its whole existence. Okay, Pittsburgh Steelers have been the model of consistency, one of those few franchises that's been the model of consistency. And I think what we've reached a point where they decided, you know what, this is just not worth the headache. We are the Pittsburgh Steelers, a consistent brand, a stable brand, and for us to move forward as a franchise with Mike Tomlin, that, you know what, maybe we need to take a step back and shake things up and maybe remove some guys from our locker room in order for us to move forward as a franchise. Now, we'll see if it works out in the end for Antonio Brown. He still has 3 years left on his deal. Whatever team he goes to, who knows what that whole organization, coaching situation going to look like, whether the team is going to give him a new deal, because clearly that's something that he wants. So I will always say that the path is not always green on the other side. So we'll see how that works out from Antonio Brown's situation. But I will say from the Pittsburgh Steelers standpoint, this doesn't resolve everything that's happened with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, we still have the whole issue of Big Ben. Now that you're removing Antonio Brown from the equation, it doesn't. I don't know if this stops Big Ben from going out into the media and calling out guys, game after game. I think that's something that still needs to be, talked about with Art Rooney II, with Big Ben, because guys in their locker room, they don't appreciate a quarterback going out there and calling you out through the media. So, yes, this is one chip that has fallen with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but by no means is this the end of the whole saga that's been the Pittsburgh Steelers the past couple of years.
Well, I certainly agree with that. There's no argument there. Because Big Ben Roethlisberger has definitely gotten a pass in all of this, and Antonio Brown has helped because of the way he's elected to conduct himself to bring attention. He wanted to be a distraction. It's clearly intentional and very, very transparent what he's doing. He wanted to be enough of a headache and enough of a distraction that the Pittsburgh Steelers said, this is not how we do business. Let the man go. Let him get up out of here. We know what he was doing. But I think that sometimes what gets lost in the shuffle, particularly when it comes with these receivers, particularly when it comes to the African-American athlete, is when you elect to go that route, it stays with you. It carries you. It's a reputation that gets attached to you, fairly or not. That's the world that we live in. And I think that when you talk about Antonio Brown, we bring up the team, Max, and we brought up Le'Veon Bell, or we brought up the Steelers. We need to bring up the Players Association. We need to bring up the collective bargaining agreements, because the fact is that if the teams didn't have the power, they'd have nothing to exercise in this regard. One of the things that frustrates the hell out of players is the fact that they know that the kind of actions that Antonio Brown has been partaking, for example, that's the only leverage they have. They don't have anything else at their disposal. And that's what frustrates them, particularly when you get around baseball players and basketball players and you see the latitude and the rights that they have available to them. These are the kind of things that football players
Stephen A., you
lament
brought something
all
up.
the time.